Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So I know yesterday we talked a little bit about the ongoing visa situation and the issues that a lot of different teams are having, a lot of different players, a lot of different rosters, and we really don't know how it's going to affect the lock-in tournament very much. How many players are actually going to get over here in time? Are teams going to start their just academy rosters? Are they going to have some substitutes? What exactly is going to happen is going to be very, very interesting. It could also have a big effect on the lock-in tournament. And at the end of the day, the lock-in tournament doesn't mean a ton. It doesn't affect your spring split standings. It doesn't affect your regular season standings over the course of the year. It shouldn't affect, or I mean, it's not going to affect who makes it to Worlds or anything like that, but there is $150,000 on the line. This is our first opportunity to see a lot of the new players, a lot of the new rosters, a lot of the new teams and organizations and everything, and obviously the first League of Legends we've seen in months at this point is going to have fans and analysts alike overreacting to a ton of stuff, so it is an opportunity to really showcase yourself in front of a big audience and maybe gain some fans or players having a chance to pop off and stuff like that. So again, while it shouldn't matter too much if this stuff is affected, yes, it will suck if these visa issues are continue to drag out to the beginning of the spring split or anything like that. But today we got a really, really big announcement from Immortals talking about what is going to be going on with their team headed into the lock-in tournament, who's going to be starting, and just a really, really massive big visa update. So not only should this tell us a little bit about Immortals, but maybe give us some insight into what some other teams and organizations are dealing with as well. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really quick. It's fast, it's free, it's easy, helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it a ton. Also, hitting a like on this video if you enjoy my content, if you like what we do here, or if you enjoy this video at all, would also be amazing. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm so much, getting my videos out to more and more people. And again, it's easy. Just click that button. I would appreciate it a ton. With that being said, here we go. Getting right into this. Apple had tweeted out, this is at 1, this was a couple hours ago. I saw it earlier, but I didn't get a chance to look at it until later. Been a busy day, and we're grinding Season 11 a little bit. But I wanted to make this video, getting this update out to you guys, because this is a pretty big one. Gilhodo put out a message in the Immortals Discord, which reads, Raze, Xerxe, and Destiny, and him are all still not in the US. Again, this is January 9th that he's saying this. The lock-in tournament starts January 15th. 6 days away. Them not being in the United States, not a good sign. He says that he will be flying in on the 12th. Xerxe will be flying in on the 13th. Raze should make it to the United States by around the 13th or 14th. But Destiny, unfortunately, had to go back to Australia because the situation in Denmark got way worse and made embassy appointments for non-US citizens practically impossible, and he has to go through quarantine before being able to go to his embassy appointment. His quarantine ends on the 14th, which is 5 days from today, and that is one of the many reasons why they have made the decision that the Academy team will be playing the preseason tournament. Their entire Academy roster will be playing what sounds like the entire lock-in tournament. Even if all 5 would be there on the 15th, they still value practice and readiness for the official season more important than the preseason tournament. So it sounds like, obviously, instead of wasting a bunch of time getting ready for the lock-in, but also just playing the lock-in games, which is going to be time consuming as well, they would rather take those days to continue practicing, building up synergy, getting ready for the actual season. And I can't really blame them too much there, because stage games are important, obviously, but just having practice, gaining synergy, all that stuff is great as well. And they said also, explained all of this because we want you to be as open as possible to our fans, so any questions you guys have, just shoot him. And first of all, I want to say I really, really appreciate the openness from Immortals. This is not something we often see from coaching staffs, something we often don't see from organizations. I know 100 Thieves was kind of working on last year being more and more open because they had really received some backlash from their fan base in the past, making some absolutely random and decisions that people really didn't agree with, and then just being very, very shut in about them and not talking to their fan base or talking to the community at all. So I do like what Immortals is doing, and the Immortals fan base, while it's, they're one of the less popular teams, they're not as exciting, but they can really gain some fans by doing stuff like this, by being an open organization that actually explains things, that actually reaches out to the community, that actually kind of explains what's going on. That is awesome, and I really, really appreciate that, and it does make me kind of respect both Gilhodo and just the Immortals organization a little bit more because of this. But in the end, this is, shitty news that Immortals is not going to be playing any of their main roster players. Yesterday, the rumor was that they might be going with the 4 imports plus Insanity in the mid lane. Maybe it would happen what was going to happen in the top lane. But I get why that wouldn't really make sense either, because yes, it would be nice for Insanity to get some more games and stuff, but if he's playing with none of the players he's going to be playing with in spring season, and the alternative is that he can practice up and scrim and stuff with his main team, that would be nice too. But it's also going to be interesting to see what they're going to do as far as scrims and stuff while all the other teams are playing the lock-in tournament. Like how valuable of practice are they going to be able to get, and all of that stuff. It will be weird. As far as the roster that is going to be playing, here's what Leaguepedia has as Immortals kind of academy roster at this point. As we can see, it's going to be Tapoon, Potluck, Pretty, Keith, and Joey. So I know some people are kind of memeing that Keith is once again making his way back to the LCS. It seems like for, I don't know, like the 50th time. I know Potluck we've seen in the LCS a little bit before. I don't know much about Tapoon or Pretty. Joey's a guy who I've seen in like solo queue and stuff. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, this Immortal squad is not very hyped up. You know, people think they're not going to be able to do very well. Already, people had Immortals rated as one of the lower teams, but again, when you're going with backups at every single position, it's not going to be looking too good. I do think this kind of sucks because personally, I was really excited to see how Xerxe is going to be able to do. Raze and Destiny are also really, really interesting, seeing how they'll be able to transition over to the LCS. But Xerxe is a guy who I think actually has a decently high ceiling and is kind of obviously the future player that Immortals is trying to build around. So it sucks that we're not getting to see them right away. Again, it's just a preseason tournament. It's not that big of a deal, and no one was expecting Immortals to like win the tournament or anything. So hopefully the outcomes won't be affected at all. If we take a look at the groups, here is the group that Immortals is placed in. So they had kind of the easier group, honestly. Maybe they were going to be able to not make a little bit of a run, but they had a chance to make it to the knockout stage because top 4 teams make it to knockout. And they have Dignitas in their group as well, who I don't really see as that great of a team. But now, starting the Academy roster, Immortals has to be kind of the lowest ranked team in this whole thing. It would be interesting to see them play Golden Guardians because I think a lot of people kind of consider Golden Guardians almost an Academy roster at this point. But we will see how this goes. Obviously, now they are definitely going to be projected to be at the bottom of their group. Dignitas gets bumped up a spot if they didn't already, but it seems like the teams already knew about this because I believe these are in like kind of the draft order, and obviously Immortals is down at the bottom. And I think if they had Xerxe, Raze, and Destiny, that they would definitely be rated ahead of Dignitas by these teams. But yeah, there's just a little insight into what is going on. Again, I don't know if we can make any comparisons to other teams because I know we've heard CLG is having some issues with Finn and Broxa. I know FlyQuest is having some issues with Jose Diodo. I don't believe we've gotten official statements from those teams so far, whether or not they're planning on playing Academy players or Academy rosters in the lock-in tournament, or whether those players will even be ready to go by the time the lock-in tournament comes around. But it sounds like all these players should be able to make it in the United States before the start of the season. So however much this sucks for the lock-in tournament, because this is the first ever lock-in tournament. Riot wants us to succeed. They want it to do well. They want it to have good viewership. And the teams are playing for $150,000, which any of the teams would really, really appreciate because, again, they are businesses. They do want to make money. That's a pretty substantial prize pool. Like, yes, in the grand scheme of things, maybe it's not a ton, but it's a nice chunk of change that, nobody would really want to pass up if they had a chance. But again, Immortals one of the bottom teams. It shouldn't affect it too much. We still have Cloud9. We still have Team Liquid. We still have 100 Thieves, TSM, FlyQuest, all those teams at the top, even though FlyQuest might be affected with Jose Diodo, obviously having some issues as well. But we will have to see how this goes. If I get any new updates or anything about any of the other visa issues going on, we will definitely talk about those as well. But again, this does just suck. If you are an Immortals fan, if you're a fan of Xerxe, Raze, Destiny, if you were excited about getting a look at these players, it is kind of a tease that now you'll have to wait another 2 to 3 weeks to actually get to see them play. And again, we have spent this whole offseason kind of hyping up a ton of new rosters, players, talent. These teams spent all this time, resources, and money on molding these rosters together of what they hope is going to be their roster of the future, and they want to start developing that talent and stuff. And to have these kind of things delayed just sucks, but this is, 2021 is 2020 part 2. We still have coronavirus going on. It's still a pandemic. We still have travel restrictions on top of just the usual visa issues and struggles and things that teams and players are always going to have. But again, with everyone just wondering and having so many questions and wondering, are our players even going to be there? Is our team going to be at full strength? Who's going to be our starting roster? There's so many questions, speculation, rumors, all this stuff going on. I really, really do appreciate Immortals being so upfront about this, so straightforward. And even though the lineup they're going to be starting is not that exciting, and it is going to kind of suck because not only is Immortals not going to be ready to go, but now the top teams like Cloud9, I'm sure they want to play against a better team. I'm sure they want to play against Immortals' better roster. I'm sure they want to, get those stage games and practice and experience against an actual team, not an academy team. So it just kind of affects the overall competitiveness of the tournament. Again, I think you get better from practicing against better players from better teams, better competition. Just having an academy team thrown in there does kind of suck. But also, this is an amazing opportunity for all those players. They're getting at least 4 games to kind of prove themselves on the big stage. And if they have a big tournament, they have a big game, if they have a good showing, they can potentially be working themselves into future contracts and future money and stuff. So those players have every incentive to give it their all, to play their hearts out, and to hopefully surprise us and impress us. And that's awesome because, again, we want the future of North America. It's going to take a building up of talent and building up of infrastructure and new rookies and a new era of players coming in. So we need the young talent to keep coming in, to keep showing up. So we do need these guys to have some good showings, and hopefully at least some good will come out of this, because obviously it is a sucky situation for the org, for the players, for the fans, for Riot, for the LCS, for everybody involved. But some good could come out of it if we do have some nice performances. We do still have some quality games, some interesting games, and yeah, just some hopefully some surprising pop-offs. I'm definitely going to be checking these games out still. It's not going to stop me from watching or anything like that, but it will take a little bit of the hype out of it. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Again, it helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm, and I would appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this situation? Are you hyped up for the lock-in tournament still, even though Immortals is maybe going to have some roster issues? Maybe they're going to be playing an academy team. Do you think it ruins a tournament? Or do you think it's not really that big of a deal and you're still hyped up, excited, and ready to root on some of these players? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay updated on my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!